Hey YouTube world, welcome to another episode of Mark Goes Hiking. In this episode, I'm going to talk about 5 things you should really consider as a beginning backpacker. The first suggestion I have for you is to make sure you go on multiple day hikes. That way you can test out a lot of your gear. You can test out if you like your footwear. You can test out new gear, like I'm testing out my new Waymark Mile right now. This is the first day I've got it out, so I'm testing it out to see how it rides. But if you're gonna go on a weekend trip or longer than a weekend trip when you're starting, you wanna make sure that your gear works for you, that your clothes are good, that your backpack fits well, that your shoes are comfortable, that you can test out your cookware, set up your tent multiple times, probably in your backyard. But day hikes are a great way to test a lot of your gear to make sure you like how it rides, fits, feels, etc. So, tip number 1, go on day hikes, test out your gear. And to introduce tip number 2, I'm going to shoot you over to my daughter G.
Tip number 2, as a beginning backpacker, start by doing a couple overnight trips, rather than doing multiple night trips when getting started.
G, that's a really good tip, and I think the reasons for that are really similar to why you should go on day hikes. What I'm thinking of, what if you have an utter failure on night 1 or something's just not working out? Now you're stuck on a multiple day trip and your tent's not working out, or your feet are killing you because of the shoes you're wearing. Overnight trips really let you work out a lot of the kinks before you start tackling more miles and more nights. So I think that's a really good tip. Yeah, good idea. Okay, now let's talk about tip number 3 that you should consider if you're a new backpacker. And that is to make reasonable goals for the miles you're gonna hike on each trip. Whether you're going on an overnight trip or a multiple day trip, make sure that the goals you have for how many miles you set are realistic. Even if you're a cross-country runner or just run long distances on your own, hiking on trails with weight on your back is just very different than being a runner on the street. So make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure by setting the bar maybe too high for your first couple trips. You want to get a feel for what it's like to hike, especially for longer miles. And after a few trips, you'll start to get your trail legs under you and you can start hitting those big miles if that's what you want to do. Suggestion number 4, simply this: hike with more experienced backpackers. Why? Because they're more experienced than you are. They've gone through mistakes, they've gone through all the errors, they have adapted and they've changed gear and they found what works and what doesn't work. Now, don't take away the joy of learning that process yourself, but there are things that you can pick up from them that will really help make that process easier. You will learn the value of Leukotape, of non-cotton t-shirts when it's really hot and humid outside. You'll learn the value of different shoes, how to pack your bag differently, maybe a new quilt that's out there, or the difference between hammock and tent camping. You'll get to see their gear, maybe even try it out a little bit, and really learn from that process. All right, everybody, for the last tip that I have for you, this is suggestion number 5, and it's this: go through your bag and get rid of the what if items. You want to make sure that you have proper shelter, you have proper clothes, proper food, proper medicine. After that, go through all of your gear one more time and put all of the items to the side that are what if items. Well, what if this happens? Or I could use this maybe if this happens. And then go through and maybe eliminate half of those and just see what happens. You'll probably find that you would have never needed those items at all, and that'll help you kind of whittle your bag down, make your weight not so extreme, help your bag get a little bit lighter, which will actually make your experience better. So check the what if items for the last suggestion. So what suggestions do you have for a new backpacker? Leave those in the comments below. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and hit that bell notification so you know when I drop more videos on YouTube. Other than that, thanks guys for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you on the trail.